Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, you might have just watched a video on the fact that I'm having starting issues after 2 years. I put a starter in this over 2 years ago, and I'm starting to have starter issues again, intermittent starter issues. One of the things when I bought that starter, the last one that I just put in, it talked about the crankshaft position sensor and how that can actually cause intermittent starting issues. So I do have that signal every now and then. My light comes on and that's what pops up, and then the light will go out and I'll drive for a month or two and then the light will come on. But I hadn't had any starting issues until the last probably maybe month. I've had starting issues again. So I've replaced the starter. I've done a starter video, so if you need to learn how to replace a starter, that's not what was in that last video, but I do have a video on replacing the starter in this truck. This one is going to be on the crankshaft position sensor. So looking at my book, there's several tests I can do to make sure before I put this almost $80 part in my truck to make sure that this is what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and run those tests, and hopefully we'll make a video out of it. And unfortunately, the first thing we need to do is crawl down underneath. The thing I've noticed is down under here in the front is the skid plate, and that just has a couple bolts here and here, and then it flips out of the way. If you want to completely take it off, there's a bolt there and also there, which we'll have to see. I may end up having to take that off if it comes off without too much hassle. And 4 15mm bolts, and that thing's out of the way. We can come up in here. Plug right there is where I'm going to pop that loose and start my testing. That is hooked to the crankshaft position sensor, and as you can see, it's a little bit wider and cleaner. I went ahead and actually, this is where if you do something I do and you mess something up, it's not my fault. I'm not responsible, even if it is my fault. And I use that right there, mass airflow sensor cleaner. It says it's okay for plastics. It's made for, you know, pretty delicate wires, so I wouldn't think it would hurt any of that. Yet again, you can choose to do what I do. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, don't do it. You have to reach up kind of behind it, and there's this clip right here on the back side, and I just actually used my finger and was able to, you know, pry it out and pop it down. So now we're going to go ahead, and right there we're going to test this. I haven't undid my battery because you need your battery to test this, so that is the next part we're going to. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is check ground, because a lot of electrical problems start with a bad ground. So now we are going to do kind of a continuity test basically. If that's a good ground, it's grounded somewhere to the chassis. So what I did, I got the gator clip hooked to the pin there, the safety pin. Then it's hooked to the positive lead on my tester. Then I got this gator hook hooked to a ground hooked to the negative lead on my tester. Okay, so we're going to pretty much keep it hooked up like that for a little bit, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look right here on this one, and that's a continuity tester. So it should start making a noise, which means I have a good ground here to the chassis, which means that's grounded good to the chassis. So we aren't having a grounding issue. I have this all hooked up exactly the same. The only difference is I have that in the upper pin now. Now that should be my 12 volt, which it's not showing right now. And according to the book, that's when you crank it over. So hopefully it won't. So I have that set up, upper pin, everything else is all the same, same ground, same way it's hooked up to the stuff as I did the grounding test, and hopefully when I crank the car over, you'll see 12 volts here. And I'm just going to film that, and I'm going to have to come back and look at the filming to see if there is. Well, I may have messed up there. Maybe I only need to turn the switch on, so I'm going to go do that, because Definitely it started looking like it was going to go to 12, but as soon as I cranked it over, it went down. I don't know if it's supposed to do that, so I'm going to have to look at that. But I'm going to just turn the switch now and see if it hits 12 volt. Okay, so 11.35 volts. So I need to look that up and see if that's enough. According to this, it should be probably at least 12. Well, all I can find so far is it says approximately 12 volts. So unfortunately, it's not as close as I would like it to be, but it is got some voltage. And the next test is to actually plug this back in, and then the last one that we haven't tested, that's not the ground, not the 12 volt input, we need to back probe that with the probe, basically hooking everything up exactly the same, but we need to have it on alternate current, AC. So this will be more like what I would say a house type thing, but I do have a volts one, I believe, and quite honestly I need to learn more about this. I believe that one is for alternate current. Wow. And this one is direct current, because this one is like what you'd normally check your battery on, and I believe this one is for more of an alternate current. Have that up in there. I believe it's as far as I can get it up in there, and you want to try and be careful you don't really poke into the wires. You just want to kind of shove it up in there where they connect at. So we got that up in there, we got it hooked up, and then this time it does say to crank it over. So we're going to do that. I'll set you up so you can see it. That didn't go as high as it's supposed to. It's supposed to be around 5 volts, and so I'm not sure if I did do that right, so I'm going to put it on this one here, because it actually says AC up there, and try it again, see if we get any better here. Well, it didn't look like on either of those two we got what I wanted either, so I'm going to recheck that. Take a look at my book and see where I need to go from here. My footage a little bit closer, and I believe that this one and this one are basically the same thing. This just shows it in AC. It's the higher number. This one actually kind of brought it down to the 2.5 volts basically, and this one just showed 2. So I could be wrong on that, but I got 2 from this one, 2.5 from this one, and 2 from this one. So I'm assuming that this thing is putting out about 2.5 volts, and it's supposed to be putting out, according to the book, 5 volts. So I've got to check and see if there's some reason why this truck is putting out less volts, because basically it says if you don't get any sensor, any output, then you replace your crankshaft position sensor. But I don't know if that's the crankshaft position sensor that's low now, or if that being the fact that I only got like 11.33 volts down there, if I'm having a problem with my wiring in between. Yet again, wiring issues are always a pain in the butt. Any kind of electronic stuff. I enjoy electronics when I know what's wrong, but it's a real pain once you trying to diagnose it. I've since went in and looked over a few things, and I've seen stuff that say that it could be anywhere from 2 to 5 amps or volts, sorry. And then I saw another one, and sorry I can't remember who it was, just something saying that basically you need to turn it by hand, because with a voltmeter it will not register correctly. So I have undid the coil, so I won't crank my motor over and rip my hand off. Doubtful, but just in case, it can't start that way. And I'm going to go down below, figure out what I need for that, and actually crank this thing by hand and test it. Maybe. Well, YouTube, I tried doing it by hand like it said on that website, and I couldn't get anything to work. It's getting the 2.5 volts AC when it's turning over, and if he's correct and you can't get a correct voltage, at least I know it is getting voltage down there. And from what I've looked at, they can run from 2 point something to 5 volts is kind of the average. But I don't know if that just depends on which vehicle it is or if any vehicle can run that. I honestly don't know. This is definitely one of those things. I'm no expert, and when it comes to electronic stuff, I know quite a bit actually, but this is a newer rig even for me, and I know it's not a new rig by any means, but it's the newer, a lot more complicated wiring type stuff, and this is a little bit over my head, I'll admit it. Although I gotta say, the way I tested it, as far as testing for ground, testing to see if it's getting the 12 volts, which it was getting 11.5 volts, which also could be some of the issue. I don't know. That could even be the fact that the gator wire, clip wires that I was using might be interfering with some of the voltage as well. I don't know about that. That could be one of the things I might be having a problem with. But besides that, it's starting every single time now that I put the new starter in it, so I really think it might have just been the starter was having issues. For right now, because that seems to be getting voltage and it's giving out AC voltage, I'm not gonna replace it. There's no use in putting I think it's an $80 part in that I don't really know for sure if I need it. So if the light goes off again and I have more problems, you will all know about it. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there having these problems. So yet again, if there's anybody out there that might exactly know whether or not I'm doing that testing right, I would appreciate some information below. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And just to kind of round this off, if you did need to replace this, which I do not believe I do, there's just a bolt right there. You pop out, this whole thing pops out, you pop the new one in. Now there's a caveat to that. I'll put this back in the box because I am going to try and take it back. It even says in here that this is where it says that there could be starting issues in the instructions, so you should read through that. These right here, now they're shims that you may need to use if you're having a problem with, like if you look at the end of your old one and it's kind of ground up or it's been actually touching, you may need these shims. So you need to kind of pay attention to the directions on this one. It also said, I have read somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly if it was here or somewhere else, because I did read in a lot of different areas, if you need these, there's a good chance you got more problems going on at some point you may want to take care of. But anyhow, it looks like a very easy pull it out, put it in kind of thing. I don't know what size the bolt is because I'm not doing it. But anyhow, sorry if this didn't help you guys out. Yet again, I'm just trying to figure out my own problems. And yet again, my truck is starting just fine now. So anyhow, I think I'm going to end this one here for now. I'm going to take that part back. Hopefully they'll take it back, because I do know some of the electrical stuff they don't like taking it back. But I'm going to try and take that back. And this is Sam, Jack of all and obviously master of none. You all have a good one.